Dear friends, it has pleased the Divine Lioness to put us to the test this day. And I say, we did well. This villain here, this fiend, sought to use his dark magic to once again unleash the forces of the Nether Hells against our fair city. But by joining forces, we were able to prevent that from coming to pass, thanks to your bravery, thanks to the Lion Goddess. Dear friends, this rogue will receive his just punishment. But today is not a day of wrath. Today should be a day of joy, a day which Warunk shall long remember, a day of faith. And this very day I too shall celebrate the faith. Warunkians, in honor of your bravery and courage, will I this day take the beautiful Calandra as my wife.
What is this? What's going on here? Azariel.
I was afraid you'd never figure it out.
No wedding.
A joining in the Master's name, surrounded by his servants. Nothing new to you.
Calandra, I will be right with you!
Don't do it! You're playing right into her hands!
My compliments, by the way. Your education has been exemplary. I've almost convinced her.
Calandra, whatever she offers you, don't accept!
And she's even a virgin. Too bad I can't use that anymore. The awakening has already begun.
You filthy demon whore! Keep your hands off her!
Maybe I'll give her to Falk, as a little incentive. He can't always fail the way he did in the Prior's Temple.
Enough said! To the Nether Hells with you!
Do it! But please let them live.
You will not regret it, child. Just say the words.
From this day on, will blood wake blood.
You don't know what you're doing, Calandra! Silence, cripple!
So Borbarat, take my soul. May it rest gently in your hands.
You take my soul! Let them go!
Dear Chiron, your soul is worth less than hers. Go on, Calandra.
Freedom through pain, power through will. every human a mage.
Excellent. Simply excellent.
You promised!
Of course, my child. Your loved ones are safe. So now we can both begin your journey of discovery and knowledge.
But the wedding, Mother. What shall I tell the Warunkians? And the Rondrians?
You do not have your gift under control. You have shed Calandra's blood. Your necromancer did not finish his work. You had your chance and you failed.
She will never obey you, Azaril. She is smarter than I was then.
Folk, lock these two up. Your life depends on their safety.
I'll find you, Azaril.
I can't wait, my dear Chiron. I can't wait.
No more secrets.
You're right. You were right from the start. I'm sorry, Chiron. So, ask.
Who is Azaril?
Azaril, High Prophetess of Borbarad, the Demon Master. She is the head of the Church of Borbarad.
What does she want from us? Why did she kidnap Calandra, and what do you have to do with it?
You know we spent all those years fleeing through the Shadowlands, from one hiding place to another, constantly in fear of the Borbaradians. We weren't randomly pursued, Chiron. We fled Azaril's minions, who were out to capture us, me and the two of you.
All those years? Why?
To get revenge. Before you were born, I was a Borbaradian myself. I served Azaril with all my... I was her loyal servant. But then I betrayed her. Betrayed and robbed her.
Why?
For Calandra and for you.
All this effort, the wedding, the infiltration of Rondrians, all because of Calandra?
Chiron, Calandra is not just anyone. You're not just anyone either.
What do you mean?
Azaril chose you both. You and 5 other children. You 7 were not born like other children. You came into the world as part of a ritual in which Azaril summoned a powerful demon. This demon was to provide you with vast powers from the Nether Hells. Azaril spoke of the gifts. How successful the ritual was, I don't know. I just know that I couldn't watch Azaril surrender 7 newborns to some demon at the cost of their mothers' lives.
And next you're going to tell me that these other 5 children are my siblings too. Septuplets, all born on the same day from the same mother.
Chiron, Calandra is not your sister.
I have a few more questions. Tell me more about my birth.
The ritual lasted for several hours. I had to wait until the Borbaradians had used all of their magical powers. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had a chance.
Did you see the demon?
Yes. That was the moment I knew I had to act. I lifted Calandra out of the summoning circle and took her hostage. Calandra's death would have caused the ritual to fail completely. With my knife at Calandra's throat, I forced Azaril to free your mother. You were not born yet. Azaril's astral energy was exhausted as well. She raged, but had to let us go. I fled south with you, away from the massives of the Black Sickle. Your mother was very weak. You were born on the wall of death. But your mother died in childbirth. So there I stood with 2 children in my arms, and I finally had a purpose.
And what was supposed to happen after the wedding?
Sooner or later, the church would have sent folk somewhere else. Calandra would have gone with him.
And I would have stayed in Warunk and protected you from Azaril's revenge for the rest of my life. That was your plan, wasn't it?
I wanted to save your souls. I can only hope that you will understand that one day.
Did you want to marry Calandra off to separate her from me?
I did. I hoped that your gifts would never wake up if you were separated. Azrael stated repeatedly that the gifts strove together. I was sure from the start that this would confuse the feelings of those bearing the gifts. I've also seen the way Calandra has looked at you the last few moons. You are no longer children. It was only a matter of time before you... Well, you know.
And that's why the lie about us being siblings. You didn't just want to prevent us from mixing our blood.
Even kissing could have been dangerous.
And a heroic Rondrian bridegroom could have held Calandra in check if necessary, even with her powerful demonic gifts.
At least he could have saved her soul if she were to succumb to demonic temptation.
Why didn't you say anything all those years? Why did you say we were siblings?
No blood shed, no blood mixed. This is family. I've hammered that into you, because I still don't know exactly what that ritual did to you. But I did find out that your blood shouldn't be mixed, because that would awaken the demonic gifts you carry within you. That goes for you and all the other children who were born during the ritual.
So that's why you always kept us away from other people's children. You were afraid they too might have these gifts.
And that's why I also forbade you from healing one another. If your blood had mixed, the consequences would have been incalculable.
We have mixed our blood.
I know. Otherwise you wouldn't have been able to defeat that Heshtot in the market. The power of the gifts has awakened, and we do not know what effects they will have.
Why did she claim to be Folk's mother?
As a disguise, I suppose. She couldn't fool all Warrank with magic the way she deceived me.
She had him call her mother and used a hand mask. That can hardly be called a disguise. There must be more to it than that.
Maybe she really wanted to be Folk's mother. Don't be fooled by her behavior in the temple. If that woman can really feel some kind of love, then she will show it in very strange ways.
I thought the hunchback Ziran was the head of the Church of Borbarad.
He was. He called himself Portifex Maximus and ruled out of Ilsa until he was overthrown and his invincible legion of Yak Monith was destroyed. Azrael seized the opportunity to take his place.
Portifex Maximus, the greatest gatekeeper. Peculiar title.
As peculiar as the rest of the religion. Its offices were bought with gold. Its believers were nothing more than decadent, power-hungry blood mages. The title Gatekeeper is probably an allusion to the Dark Gates, Limbus Gates through which demons can be summoned.
Tell me more about Azrael.
She is the head of the Church of Borbarad. Clever, vile, very, very powerful. They say no one knows the teachings of the Demon Master better than she. She has a network of cultists and agents throughout the Shadowlands and probably beyond.
I can't believe that a mage that powerful was unable to capture a man and 2 children in 20 years.
I was vain enough to believe that my skills and some luck saved us time and again. Once the 2 of you could fight, it got easier. But Azrael was just waiting for the right moment to capture Calandra.
You were a Borbaradian yourself. Can't you do magic?
No. But even if I could, I wouldn't do it. Borbaradians pledged their souls to learn the secrets of blood magic. I wasn't ready for that. Azrael thought my faith wasn't strong enough. She was right. It wasn't faith that led me to the Borbaradians.
Then what was it?
Don't make me talk about it. It's not important to you.
You lied to me all my life. Why should I believe you?
Please.
You stubborn old fool. Fine, have it your way.
Thank you, Chiron.
Damned Rondrians! I told you right from the start they weren't to be trusted.
The Rondrians are honorable warriors. It's just that with Folk they have the wrong man in charge, while Metropolitan Yakon is away from Warrank. But it would be wrong to underestimate Azrael. She wanted Calandra to be with Falk and in her sphere of influence. That's why she was pushing the wedding.
They've betrayed us. Falk never really wanted to marry Calandra. The whole thing was just a plot to deliver Calandra to Azaril.
But how could she have planned on your gifts awakening right at this moment? Why the old Rondra temple of all places? And why all the effort to summon the Heshtot?
If Falk is a tool of the Borberadian Church, he could increase their influence in Wurrunk, and that from behind the mask of a Rondrian.
I don't think Azaril is planning a violent coup. That's not her style. It would be more subtle. Find herself innocent aides who don't even suspect whom they're really serving.
The wedding of a senior Rondrian as a symbol for the masses, and in the old Rondra temple of all places. It was used as a necromantic brothel during the occupation.
Powerful symbols and bitter irony. That's Azaril's way.
Of course! The necromancer was also working for Azrael.
The attack on the refugee camp as a distraction to get all the Rondrians to look for the culprit there. That gave the necromancer enough time for the great summoning in the marketplace.
And Falk was to defeat the Heshtot to reap the glory and pull the Wurrunkians completely over to his side.
So that's why Falk sent you in to face the necromancer in the Prios temple. He wanted to get rid of you because he didn't think you stood a chance against the necromancer. The necromancer as sacrificial lamb. And with the Wurrunkian support, it would have been easy for Falk to dethrone Metropolitan Yakon upon his return.
And when I defeated the Heshtot, he had to deliver the necromancer to the Wurrunkians to reap at least a little glory. How could the Rondrians fall for Falk? How could they give an agent of Azaril so much power?
Falk is supported by those Rondrians for whom something other than just their honor counts. Those who don't despise the Wurrunkians for what they did during the necromancer occupation.
And who did not die for their honor. Hell, the Wurrunkians had to survive somehow.
True enough. Even Yakon, the leader of the Rondrians, is likely to see that. But he evidently fears that the Wurrunkians will succumb to demonic temptations too lightly if not led by an iron fist. And Falk is using this dispute to his advantage. He has the more forgiving Rondrians on his side, and with them the Wurrunkians who don't want to blame themselves. Falk played his part well. And there's no doubt about his fighting ability. Why should the Rondrians distrust someone who fought side by side with them?
It's strange that the Wurrunkians were so easily sucked in by Falk. He's really not your typical Rondrian.
The Rondrians here are little better off than the refugees. The Wurrunkians don't love them, but they can't oppose them either. After all, they liberated the city from the necromancers. When the necromancers ruled here, the Wurrunkians did many things for which they would have been burnt at the stake anywhere outside the Shadowlands. Treason, denunciation, demon worship. Damn. Some even sold their dead relatives so that they could fight for the necromancers as undead soldiers.
Not to forget those who used both dead and undead for their art. From the bone carvers to the pimps, they all had customers.
I do not know how we would have behaved. For my part, I wouldn't want to hear any occupying forces telling me that everything I had done over the past few decades was all wrong and that I should have spent my life in atonement.
Whatever. We shouldn't just wait for someone to come and pick us up. Falk thinks he has won and Calandra is in Azaril's power.
Our guard is a young Rondrian. I'm sure he doesn't know what went on in the temple, and I don't think he's one of Azaril's followers either.
More likely a useful idiot who believes Falk. Maybe I can appeal to his honor and get him to make a mistake. But maybe I should find a weapon first. Good. I will find a way out. I'll wait here.